Hi guys, MKS again here, Michael Shenton. It's midnight here in the UK. My brother's just left, so I'm gone out for a bit, so I'm going to take this time to upload, so hopefully he won't disturb my video. I've just about made it last time before he came in, so hopefully it'll be out for at least for a while anyway. So I thought I'd continue on with my list. In order for it to make sense, please check out my last video. My last video, as many as you can. I really appreciate it. Any support, any likes or shares and things like of my videos. Anyway, so I thought I'd get back to the list of the groups I'd love to support. And I'll start from point 21, where I left off. Anyway, sorry. So 21 would be I wish to support countries where my connections are from or ancestry, such as India and places like that, Ireland and places like that. I know I've already mentioned that kind of. Another idea I had was to, I'm not sure if I mentioned this one in my previous video, but to support social enterprise projects for supporting Africans in technology specifically, which I hope to focus on. So yeah, that's point 21. 22. So just going back to point 21 again. Sorry. Ireland, Scotland, France, India, Tunisia, Kenya, and places I've got sort of connections or links to through my family and things like that. Because my mum was of Indian origin, but she was born and bred in Kenya, where her dad worked on the railways and things like that, apparently. So it's a story she often tells. Sorry. Anyway, so moving on. 22, I'd like to support medical care for the four that I often refer to. 23, I'd like to support the poorest 10% of people in all countries, all possible countries. That's one of my main dreams. I might have covered that before in my previous videos. 24, I wish to support democracy around the world, democracies, and also countries that are colonized, anti-imperialism and things like that. 25, I wish to support all possible republics around the world. 26, again, all countries that were like, I know I touched on this before, but all countries that were like colonized, but also countries that were divided, such as India, China, Argentina, Ireland, Morocco, Spain, and countries like that, which have been split up, like parts of their country they no longer own, which probably won't be very popular where I live in the UK, but it's still an idea of mine, which I wish to make a network to support those countries, fundraise them and things like that. 27, I hope to acknowledge and list any sponsors or supporters of my channel or things that I agree with and network and connect with. And probably, if they're like YouTubers, support their YouTube in return, or if they have other projects, support those as well. 28, I hope to support those who have been through crime or suffered from natural disasters or terrorism or anything like that. I hope to fundraise to support those groups who have been through bad things or bad times. 29, I hope to support the MKSS group I talked about before. Like, that includes Eurasian nations, transcontinental countries generally, the Mideast, the Mediterranean, and countries like that, and dare I say olive-skinned, what I call part olive-skinned, mixed race and non-disabled people, and that includes YouTubers and other projects from those groups. 30, I hope to possibly make part 4 of this video, maybe, I'm not too sure. If if I'm going to make a part 4 or not. But maybe I'll think of more groups I wish to support. So a big one I want to support is technology across Africa, and supporting fundraising for youth across Africa, connecting Africa in a Pan-African network. So one of my goals is, one of my dreams is to help Pan-Africa to help Africa to unite, Central Africa, to which I'm not sure if it's still going through, but was going through a civil war. So I'm hoping to unite the country and make it as united as possible, and then also it can be a hub for Central Africa, but as it's central, could connect the whole continent through a Pan-African network. So I hope that makes sense, especially through technology, which is the main one. Like all those 4 groups I talked about, I generally want to help equally in all, except for one extra thing for Africa would be in technology, which I've set myself a challenge for, supporting African tech, and possibly to make up for it, I'd help the other groups in other areas like maths or science or engineering or learning English. But I think English is quite an important skill for people from poorer backgrounds to learn, because it's a universal language which is spoken all over the world. So if you can learn English, you can get more chances for careers, businesses, and things like that. So I know that some anti-imperial groups, wish to learn more traditional languages from Africa and that kind of thing. But I think that English, because it's so universal, you can trade. You've got more opportunities in business and things like that if you can learn English. As I say, I wish to support medical support for poor people, for poor backgrounds in places like India and Kenya, South Africa, all over Asia, Africa. As I say, the 4 that I talked about. Excuse me. And I was watching something earlier on YouTube about the SWAB Foundation for Social Entrepreneurship, which seems to be helping entrepreneurs around the world, including in developing countries. And incidentally, Charles Schwab is a fellow dyslexic. He's also a billionaire who founded his own discount brokerage firm. And there are quite a few dyslexics who have become prominent entrepreneurs, such as Richard Branson, Charles Schwab, John Chambers, and many others. And this did give me an idea for people like Charles Schwab and Richard Branson, John Chambers, and people like that too. And John Chambers was the CEO of Cisco. I don't believe he is the CEO anymore, but he was the CEO of Cisco, which I don't know much about, but I know it works in technology. So I think his could be specifically focused on technology, but to have social enterprise which support young dyslexics, especially from Africa and Asia, to run their own businesses. So that's an idea I'd really love to encourage. And I hope I can somehow get some dyslexic groups together, maybe get someone who can write a lot better than me, who can edit a letter perhaps, to people like Richard Branson and Charles Schwab, John Chambers, and people like that, to encourage them to set up the the Richard Branson Centre for Entrepreneurship for Young Dyslexics across Africa, Asia, and places like that. So it hopefully will also encourage people to see dyslexia in a more positive light. And I've got lots of other ideas, but I probably don't want to waffle too much, and sometimes I overthink my ideas. But yeah, I hope that's an idea that interests a lot of people. All being well, tomorrow I want to talk about a few ideas, such as a dyslexic billionaires network and things like that. So hopefully you will look forward to enjoy it. And thanks for listening. Anyone's made it this far, please share, like, subscribe, and especially with dyslexic people, if you know any dyslexic people, to inspire them. I'd really appreciate, and I hope my talks help a lot of people, because I've done a lot of reading about famous dyslexics. So I'm going to, especially in October, which is Dyslexia Awareness Month, I'm going to do a lot of talks about dyslexic entrepreneurs, famous dyslexics, and that sort of thing. So, dyslexics around the world, across Africa, Asia, and all over the world, really, which I hope, especially young children, will be inspired by. Because there was an interesting story by who I was talking about, John Chambers, where he was doing something where it was a father going to take your dad's to work there, or whatever, and he didn't want to tell anyone he was dyslexic, but when he found there was a young girl with dyslexia who didn't have much confidence, and he found out she was dyslexic, he told people he told her he was dyslexic, and he didn't realise that the mic was on, so the whole audience could hear him, and then that encouraged other people. Wrote to him and told him that he should talk about his story because it inspires a lot of people as well. So, dyslexic people coming out and talking about dyslexia inspires a lot of people. So, I'm going to stop rambling now. Hopefully you enjoyed that, and have a good day, evening, afternoon, wherever you are, depending on the time where you are. It's 1:45 in the morning now, so probably should go to sleep soon. Okay. Love you. Take care. Bye.